Happy 94th Facebook Live Wednesday. I am going to be sharing some vulnerability, moments where I have discovered the hard way how to choose to let go of pain and choose peace. A lot of you are thinking, how do I choose peace when parenting is so painful, right? So I just a few seconds ago literally saw this Russian doll that many of you might be familiar with, might not. I know the first one that I had was from Japan, but I have no idea where that one is. But this really symbolizes what the inner child, right? Your inner child as an adult raising your children. Whether your child is 3 or whether your child is 43, as a parent, we never stop worrying, right? We never stop caring. Sometimes we get disgusted. Sometimes we get angry. Sometimes we think, why am I suffering? So this is us as an adult, right? And then something happens and we think, oh my gosh, I am dealing with a really oppositional, defiant, challenging teenager. Remember now, that teenager still resides here. And then you get frustrated, you might lash out, right? And then you think, wait a minute, now I have a little toddler just really pushing your buttons. Remember now, this little toddler also resides in you. Every single time you are triggered, you are you're very angry, or maybe you're just depressed and apathetic, no matter what negative emotions reside in you, it stems from, you're an adult, you're also your little teenager, and then you also become a toddler. And we have to remember that we all have this tiny inner child that resides in us. And if we don't take care of the wounds that this little child craves, then as an adult, it is really hard to raise your little one, because we personalize every struggle that your little one is experiencing, because we want to prevent the pain, we want to fix the problem, and we just want to kind of like, look, I want to hide them from the fearful world. I know my dad did. My parents always warned me that there was like fear in the world to hide from, to prevent. And I remember telling my dad, I'm not going to raise my children that way. But the messages that we receive throughout our childhood, even in utero, right? It does affect us as we parent. So I'm going to talk about how to actually maneuver and navigate life when we have all these different phases, right? And then it all boils down to this little guy. And I think this little guy also opens, and look, there's a teeny weeny, probably this is like in utero, but this guy affects us as an adult. And I realize this is a great symbol of what we as parents go through, because if we don't heal this little guy, it's going to affect this guy, it's going to affect this guy, and ultimately, what do we do, right? So I have an acronym that I just thought of this morning. I'm very inspired when I take my dogs on their morning walk, and I thought of an acronym called STAR. And I thought, you know what, if we want to be a star as a parent, there's only 4 magical, I guess you can say, solutions or mindsets to navigate this parenting journey. Because you might just have one child, but your child, right? This is you. Inside of your child, you have this, right? Your teenage self. You have your toddler self. You have like your baby self, but you also have the tiny baby within you that yearns healing. And it doesn't want to get yelled at or lectured or punished. Or my girls remind me all the time that I turn everything into a life lesson. which I apologize if this turns out to be a life lesson. But, you know, as I do my 94th Facebook Live, I thought, what topic does, you know, do we need or do I need, right? We always want, or we sometimes choose what we need the most. And in my case right now, it is how do I parent with peace? I have 2 adult women in my life who I gave birth to, one 26 years ago this coming April, and the other one 20 years ago this coming March, right? Which is pretty soon. So then we want to know what the acronym stands for. STAR, to surrender, to trust, to accept, and to respond with compassion instead of what I know I do, I overreact, right? Once you find yourself overreacting, I don't know if any of you folks saw my previous live and my parenting tip that really blew my mind when I found out I had 90 seconds to choose, right? Your brain can either drop it and surrender within the 90 seconds or it can hang on. If you find yourself losing it, it might be past the 90 seconds. If it is in the middle of the 90 seconds, pause, take a deep breath, walk away. Because if you can stop it within the 90 seconds, you can prevent an emotional meltdown. You can prevent words that you might regret for the rest of your life. Or you might just, like for me, you know, prevent that embarrassment that I just lost it and gave a lecture, or when the kids were younger, you know, gave just a ridiculous, unrealistic punishment, you know, taking the phone away. And then if they disrespected me, added another day. And then it's like, you know what? 1 month of no phone. One time I did 1 month of no TV. Mom is canceling cable for everyone. Not realizing that affected my life, my husband's life. We only had just the 3 channels, 0 cable, guys. So when we overreact, sometimes it's detrimental to our peace, right? It will be detrimental to our peace because we're choosing to react. Yes, it's a choice. So if we learn to surrender, right? Learn to trust and just accept where your kids are now. I mean, sometimes I hear my daughters, I witness my daughters, and I think, do I gently guide them, or do I just step away and practice what I'm preaching? Do I surrender that no matter what they're going through, I need to let go? Otherwise, I know I will end up lecturing, right? And then the lecturing often involves, you know, creating guilt. Unbeknownst to me, I end up shaming them. I end up blaming. I end up, you know, dictating sometimes. It's all with the best intention. But if we dictate and scold this little guy, guess what? It affects our lives as a parent. Because every single time you feel hurt or maybe just filled with uncontrollable anger, your little baby within, this little guy is still within you. It's called your inner child. And that inner child craves support, craves unconditional love, and craves it needs healing from all the, you know, horrendous, sometimes traumatic experiences. And remember now, trauma doesn't have to be, you know, like World War III where you were, you know, captured as a soldier and tormented. No. Trauma can be something as simple as hearing a friend, a teacher, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, even a stranger say something to you that ripped your self-esteem. You started believing in that negative story that someone shared with you. You know, it could be as simple, and I know I've been guilty of that. Oh, you know, I'm so sorry, she's just shy. So the story that this little one hears is, oh, you're shy. So that doesn't mean you can be bold. That doesn't mean you're courageous. You just don't have what it takes. So yeah, you're destined to be shy forever, which means you cannot speak your mind. Why? Because remember, you heard that you were shy. So as an adult, what I think we should do, just a suggestion, is to heal. What do? To heal, we remind ourselves. I did this inner healing exercise with someone the other day. And within 30 minutes, I felt lighter just by telling the 5-year-old Karen that she is worthy, no matter what she does, no matter the mistakes she makes, that I am enough. My friend Deslin always tells, that's her message, that we are enough. We don't have to earn our worth. And that seems like, I don't like, what? What does that even mean? Or is that something that does that really work? Yes, it does. Because when you feel worthy, when you feel that you're good enough, you're like hopeful and your confidence soars. So when we surrender, right? And we just trust. I had a meltdown yesterday where I just felt like, oh my gosh, I lost my glasses, which is something that I lose every day. Well, I couldn't find them until this morning. And I just had these written words saying, I am letting go. It's okay. I have my scratched up old glasses. And this morning, I found them in a place that I never put them. So number one, I did not follow the memory exercise that I teach. Number two, I was not present. Number three, I just put them haphazardly, probably because I was multitasking and multi-thinking, right? So when we surrender, it really, really helps us it's like that, when you have that, oh my gosh, the world's going to end, Chicken Little feeling. And then you surrender. And does it take courage? And does it take, it's hard to let go of control. But my advice to you, and I did it yesterday, I did tell Deslin, I was like, oh my gosh, I lost my glasses. And I thought, you know what? I am going to let go. I am going to let go. And I said, I'm going to just get another, I'm up for another, prescription. I can order new glasses, but part of me, I go crazy when I lose things, right? And when I let go, I had to tell myself, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, Deslin sure that Chicken Little scared her. I mean, as an adult, if you, think of, oh my gosh, the world is going to end, maybe like realistically it might not end, but mentally and emotionally, your little child is telling your adult self, the world is going to end if you don't make money, if you don't find your glasses, if you don't find your purpose and passion and do something important. And then maybe your teenage self says, you know what? Who cares what society thinks? You do you. And then maybe your little toddler self says, well, yeah, your little toddler sometimes feels like it's upside down. And you think, who do I listen to? Do I listen to the baby? Do I listen to the toddler? Do I listen to the elementary self? Or, the teenager who's just feeling like, just stop it, right? You ever find yourself lecturing yourself? This is what it sounds like. Oh my gosh, how can you be so stupid? Why did you get yourself in this predicament? Why didn't you get it, right? Fill in the blank. So if we surrender, it means, this is what it literally means. You have to just let go. Think of your thoughts are like being binded. You have like these handcuffs on. You literally have the magical power and the key to just like, I'm letting it go, right? This is why I wrote Mama's Gotta Let Go, how to let go without losing your sanity. Do I lose my sanity? Every single day. But I move on, right? I just do something like meditate, I cuddle with my dogs, I listen to a 5-minute meditation, I call a friend, and I deep breathe, let it go. Trust, right? I'm giving you the acronym for STAR, which is to be a rock star, you surrender. Next one is trust, which takes a huge amount of faith. How do you trust when in your head you have the most negative, traumatic, tragic scenarios, right? I call it negative futurizing. When a therapist told me, so it sounds like you negative futurize, I'm thinking, yeah, I do. But don't we all? I would say stuff like, well, what if like my daughter is 30 and she doesn't, and she says, wait, stop. Your daughter is 12 and you're already imagining the worst case scenario, like 18 years from now. And I kind of laughed. I didn't realize I was doing that. So if your child is like failing in class and you're visualizing like, oh my gosh, he's going to be a failure or she's going to be a failure in life. Maybe they have multiple heartbreaks or they have multiple just challenges that you think, why is not my child getting it? Am I failing as a parent? No, I'm here to remind you, you are not failing as a parent. This is the mindset. Ready? You're giving, you're the universe, God, whoever you believe in, is giving you an amazing opportunity to practice patience, to build resilience, to really, okay, to really learn and grow. And what does that look like? Well, I think the universe, took my parents away, right? My dad died in 2016. So unexpected because we were worrying about my mom. And then my mom, right, died in just a little over 3 months ago, October 25th. Hey, Lisa, yeah, my soul sister in a high school classmate also lost her mom recently. And that struggle, that pain feels so heart-wrenching, but I decided to get out of my comfort zone. I documented through Facebook, Instagram, and really videotape, literally sharing my journey, and my mom with her eyes open and her mouth open, knowing that she was going to enter heaven. And he decided, you know what? I'm going to believe, no matter what your belief system is, I'm going to choose a comforting belief. And my comforting belief is that there is a larger picture and there's a beauty of death. Yes. And that helped me. That helped me welcome the ending of my mom's life, because I knew in my heart, why would I be happy? She's going to be reunited with my dad, her 5 other siblings, not have to suffer Alzheimer's. I mean, whatever thought that you can hang on to in that moment of grief. Like suppose, worst case scenario for a lot of people is just losing all your money, right? Or losing a job, or losing what gives you financial security. Pause and say, wait a minute, what is the universe, or what is God, what is the lesson here? How can I experience a blessing in the midst of loss? Could it be maybe it's a sign that you pivot and you change career paths, or just trust? And that is, it's surrender, right? Trusting, accepting, this is happening. I am not going to resist. To me, what you resist will persist. That alone is a great reminder to me to stop hanging on to this. And then the last one is I'm going to respond healthily, right? In a mentally healthy way, and choose to respond instead of overreact. I am known in my family to overreact. I mean, I'll be watching a movie and I'll go, ah! And it's just because the lighting has changed in the scene. Or something will happen, I'll go, ah! And it just could be like, I don't know, a roach pops up in my kitchen, which I think a lot of us would share that reaction, right? But then you realize, wait, to surrender, to trust, to accept, to reply and respond without overreacting. Is it easy? No, it is not easy, but I'm going to picture my little Karen and my adult Karen really, really like nurture your inner child. And how could that be? Well, if you have that, really angry teenager in you, acknowledge it. Oh my gosh, that teenage self is really pissed off right now. What does it need? What would I need? This is what I ask you. If you're a parent or even not a parent, what do you need? What is your inner child needs? Maybe a timeout, as in not a punishment, but a timeout to get away from the stress. Do something that you enjoy. Sometimes I like to watch cute panda videos. I just saw one. It was just like a tiny, tiny panda, right? Just born, and immediately my stress melted away. I think sometimes, people are really into football and they're so passionate, right? You see them either just celebrating with excitement, or they're really just sad because their team lost, right? This is proof that your emotions can change in a heartbeat. Seriously, in a nanosecond. If you practice, right? And so this is my invitation to you. If you want to choose peace instead of pain, no matter what situation you're in, it could be, you know, the long line. Oh my gosh, Chelsea and I wanted Chinese food in Gao. We waited about an hour, but when we got there, people were like, I put my order in at 2 and now it is 5. I've been waiting 3 hours. And another person said, I put my order in yesterday at 10, told them, please have it ready by 5, and I'm still waiting. And I said, you know, Chelsea, what do you want to do? And she said, let's wait. And so we went to Ross's, went to Foodland, we saw the puppies at Pet Halle, and I thought, you know, I praised her. I said, you have an amazing amount of patience, because a lot of people would say, screw this line, right? There must have been like 12, 15 people. We got there, we were maybe like the 4th or 5th in line. And at first I thought we should have placed our order, right? And then I thought, when I listened to other people, I thought, you know what? I'm going to surrender. I'm going to trust. I'm accepting it. And I'm going to respond in a way where let's have fun while we wait, right? And then I ended up bonding with these people. When someone's order was called, they were like, and we were like, yay, good for you, you know, bye, you know, and then it was like I just made friends. So I thought, okay, what's the benefit of waiting for an hour? And then I always talk to my parents, come on, Daddy, Mommy, can you make this an enjoyable experience? And so when our order number was called, I heard Chelsea go, what? Like she won the lottery, and everyone laughed, they clapped. And I thought, wow, that's kind of a pleasant experience, right? And we were starving, but we thought we are going to wait. So it's a little analogy of how do you flip switch? There is, if you look and really, really dig, you know, you open that inner child, and then you open the teenage child, and then you open the toddler, and then the baby, and then we'll just say this is in utero, not even the baby yet. There is a hidden gift. There's a silver lining to every catastrophe, every tragedy, every like horrendous horror that you think, oh my gosh, it's like the worst case ever. There is a hidden blessing. So to recap, right? We surrender. Easy? No, but be aware. As soon as you feel really angry or depressed or some kind of negative emotion, especially if it's a worry, tell yourself, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. I'm going to practice being a star. I'm going to surrender right now and not hang on to it. Why? Because I'm going to trust that there's an amazing solution to this challenge that I'm going through. And it could be, you know, I really had to practice this when I was preparing for my mom's funeral. And then the day of the funeral, when I saw her casket, I thought, I can't do this. And I thought, yes, I can. And I walked up by myself in front of her casket, and I looked at her, right? First time seeing her dressed in the clothes that we chose. And I said, Mommy, I looked at her and I said, this is your day, Mommy. This is your day. No matter how many people show up, no matter how many leftover bentos I have, you know, they forgot to place the notice in the paper, but it's going to be okay. Because you know why? We are celebrating you. Immediately, I felt lighter. I felt like this is called a celebration of life. I can give myself permission to be sad, or I can see as an opportunity to bond with friends and family whom I rarely get to see, except at weddings, funerals, right? Celebrations. And with the pandemic, that's even become minimal, right? The opportunities to bond with family. And I've met with friends who I hadn't seen in, more than 15 years. Some of them I had never seen in, I don't even know, like a huge amount of time. At my dad's funeral, I met his workers that shared stories, and I've never met these people. Had he not died, I would not have had this amazing opportunity to revisit his childhood, his life before me. You know, my parents had volunteered at an orphanage for deaf children, blind children, and I kind of vaguely remember that, but I never talked about it with them. So it's really interesting, you know, to hear stories about my parents. But, you know, no matter what you're going through, surrender, trust, accept. Like my husband says, Destin says, it is what it is. I interviewed someone, and he is originally from, what is that? Kazakhstan. I always have a hard time pronouncing that. And he says, it is what it is. That's what his family, motto is. And I thought, wow, thought it was a neighbor island thing, but that's acceptance. It is what it is. Doesn't mean, oh my gosh, it's horrendous, hurricane. It is what it is. It's accepting what is without judgment. And that's a hard one because we immediately judge it to be, wow, this is the most amazing experience ever. Or, oh no, this is the most tragic experience, right? So like from a little child's perspective, we're at Disneyland. This is going to be the most amazing thing ever. But then when it's time to leave, they're sad. Oh no, I'm leaving Disneyland. So to teach children and to practice this ourselves, to be happy either way, right? It's like, oh my gosh, we are going to Disneyland. Oh my gosh, our Disneyland adventure ended, but I'm left with amazing memories. My mom is no longer here physically, but I feel her presence. And I know that she is with me, guiding me on the rest of my journey. And I can talk to her no matter where I am. I don't have to call her. I don't have to visit her. She is with me 24/7. That alone brought me a lot of peace. And I keep having to remind myself, when I get into that, oh my gosh, I'm never going to hug her. I'm never going to have an in-person conversation. And I stop and I go, Mommy, can you tell me something? And I hear her laughter and say, I'm always here, right? And I shake my hand and go, you are right. You're always here. Today I asked for a white feather. I found so many white feathers. I could probably, create several birds. And my family's like, stop picking up feathers. Well, today I asked my parents for a feather and I did not find one. So instead of saying, oh, they're not here. Come on, Daddy. I said, please guide me to a feather. The day's not over yet. And maybe I'm asking for a feather, but they might give me another thing. Maybe they'll give me a magical surprise or a treat. Maybe a student will say something that echoes their belief or something that my dad would say or my mom would say. But I'm looking for a specific thing. So if you're looking for a specific thing and say, okay, things are going to be okay, right? If that red light turns green in the next 2 seconds, that's a sign. Well, I invite you to switch that. I'm stopping at every red light. What the hell is going on? You reframe it. Wow, I'm being brought multiple opportunities to deep breathe and practice patience at every red light. What a beautiful thing to be thankful for. It does take practice, okay? But yeah, after you accept it, the hardest thing for me is to respond in a compassionate way and not showing a bit of judgment, or to, I don't want to do the judgment thing, but this is how difficult. I'm going to end with this analogy. Chelsea and I made this fruit tart that took a couple of days, huge process. It was inspired by Queena Tahi. And we came across a lot of challenges, right? And then even Thomas swooped in and did his little portion. So now it comes to decorate, right? Comes time to decorate. And I go, Chelsea, do whatever you want. That's what I said. Then I saw her place the strawberries upside down. So the white part of the strawberry, the kind of not bright red, pretty part. And so I say, you don't want to show the red part? Do you want to flip them over? And she looks at me and she says, I thought you just told me that I can decorate it however way I want, but now you're telling me what to do. I just laughed. I had to laugh and I had to say, you know what? I'm sorry. Sorry goes a long way, guys. If you have a melting moment where you lose your temper, what takes a lot of strength and courage to say, you know what? I am sorry. I just lost it. Must have been, I don't know, it's my default. I was telling my daughters, it's a default thing. I am sorry. Thank you for correcting me or reminding me and letting me know. So I was like, thank you. Yeah, you decorate it however way you want. So then she did flip it over, but that means some of them were red and some of them were upside down. And I just thought, you know what? It's a tart. I mean, I've known people to redecorate the Christmas tree, after their little ones decorate it. But what message would we give them? I don't let you know what that means. Whenever we correct our child, remind our child, scold our child, our child hears this. Oh my gosh, I messed up again. I guess I'm not good enough. Oh my gosh, I guess my parents don't really love me unless I behave well. Your inner child is saying, you know what? You aren't good enough. If you're not making enough money, if you're not able to make better choices, if you're not being more responsible, it's telling your adult self, you know what? I'm going to knock you in the head because you are just like not worthy. So, I surpassed exactly my 30-minute mark. Just a reminder, take care of your inner child. Take care of your children. Take care of, right? Whether you have a parent, whether you're a parent or not, you still have your personal inner child. If you're a parent, you have the huge opportunity. Yes, it's a responsibility. Sometimes it feels like a curse, but you have a huge opportunity to be a positive influence on your child by creating a safe place, by creating opportunities to lift their self-esteem and let them spread their wings and fly out of that nest, even though you think they're not ready, even though you think they can benefit from my wisdom, right? I always think that I can prevent them from making this mistake if I just like shed some light. But you know what? So oftentimes I realize it's not being like received in a welcome way, right? You just see my daughter's like, okay, here it comes. This is another life lesson, Mom. So thank you for watching, Deslin and Elisa. I really appreciate your continuous support. Elisa, I look forward to seeing you soon. And Deslin, yeah, I got to go to Kauai soon. We got to get some more pastries and go on that bridge. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. I look forward to doing these Facebook Lives. It took me a long time. I think only now, after that 90, maybe second or third time, I still get nervous. But once I start, I don't want to stop. But thank you. Follow me on TikTok, Letting Go with Aloha. Follow me on Instagram, Letting Go with Aloha. And I will continue to share my Mama's Gotta Let Go, how to let go without losing your sanity, even though there will be moments you lose your sanity, as well as 100 parenting tips inspired by the pandemic, inspired by Deslin Honkius. Thank you so much, guys. Have a fabulous, wonderful Wednesday filled with opportunities to build resilience, to grow, to learn, and most of all, to practice loving and healing your inner child. Bye, guys.